It's a Xiaomi family face-off, the standard Xiaomi 17T against the flagship 17T Pro. They share a design language, the same camera modules, and a Dolby Vision screen. But the Pro steps up to a faster chip, a bigger battery, and quicker charging. The question is whether it's worth the jump in price. Let's break it down. Xiaomi 17T 50 megapixel main camera with 5 times optical zoom, 6.59-inch AMOLED 120Hz display, MediaTek Dimensity 8500 Ultra SoC, 6500 mAh battery with 67 watt charging, IP68 dust and water resistance. Xiaomi 17T Pro 50 megapixel main camera with 5 times optical zoom, 6.83-inch AMOLED 144Hz display, MediaTek Dimensity 9500 SoC, 7000 mAh battery with 100 watt charging, aluminum frame and IP68 rating. Both phones use an AMOLED panel with Dolby Vision HDR10+, and the same 3500 nit peak brightness. The Pro goes bigger and faster, with a 6.83-inch screen at 144 Hz, while the standard 17T keeps things more compact at 6.59 inches and 120 Hz. Resolution is near identical on both, so the Pro's real edge is size and that smoother refresh rate. So on screens, it's about size and speed. The Pro is the bigger, smoother 144 Hz panel. The 17T is the more compact 120 Hz one. Everything else, from brightness to HDR, is matched. Size first. The standard 17T is the more compact phone at 157.6 mm tall against the Pro's 162.2, about 4.6 mm shorter from top to bottom. Side to side, the 17T is narrower at 75.2 mm versus the Pro's 77.5. So it's the easier of the two to use one-handed. On thickness, they're almost the same, 8.2 mm on the 17T and 8.3 on the Pro. The real gap is weight, 200 grams against 219, a noticeable 19 grams lighter in the standard model. For colors, the standard 17T comes in black, blue, and violet, while the 17T Pro offers black, deep blue, and the standout deep violet. Both phones are protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 7 front and back at most level 5, carry an IP68 rating, and survived the same 180 drop freefall test. The key split is the frame. The Pro uses aluminum for a more rigid, premium feel, while the 17T uses plastic, which helps keep it lighter at 200 grams against 219. In the hand, the standard 17T is the easier phone to live with, shorter, narrower, and 19 grams lighter at 200 grams. The Pro is the more premium build, swapping the plastic frame for aluminum, but it's the taller, heavier device. Both share Gorilla Glass 7 front and back and an IP68 rating. The camera hardware is largely shared. A 50 megapixel f1.7 main, a 50 megapixel 5 times periscope telephoto, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 32 megapixel selfie on both. The Pro pulls ahead in two places. A physically larger 1.31-inch main sensor for better light gathering versus the 17T's smaller sensor, and 8K video recording against the 17T's 4K. For cameras, it's the same versatile triple setup on both, so framing and zoom are identical. The Pro wins on the details, a bigger main sensor for low light and 8K video, while the 17T delivers the same focal lengths for less. Battery is a clear win for the Pro. It packs a 7000 mAh cell with 100 watt wired charging and adds 50 watt wireless. The standard 17T runs a 6500 mAh battery globally with 67 watt wired charging and no wireless. Endurance ratings back it up, at nearly 71 hours on the Pro versus about 66 on the 17T. On power, the Pro is the stronger phone. A bigger 7000 mAh battery, much faster 100 watt charging, and wireless charging the standard 17T simply doesn't have. If battery and charging matter most, the Pro is the one to get. Here's the biggest gap. The Pro runs MediaTek's flagship Dimensity 9500 on a 3nm process with a 4.2 GHz prime core and the Mali G1 Ultra graphics. The standard 17T uses the upper mid-range Dimensity 8500 Ultra on 4nm with a Mali G720. Both run Android 16 with HyperOS 3 and offer 12 GB of RAM, though the Pro also has a 16 GB option. Under the hood, the Pro is in a different class. A 3nm Dimensity 9500 against the 17T's 4nm 8500 Ultra. The software is the same, but for raw horsepower, the Pro wins comfortably. Storage tops out higher on the Pro, which scales from 256 GB all the way to a terabyte with a 16 GB RAM option. The standard 17T offers 256 or 512 GB and 12 GB of RAM. Both use fast UFS 4.1 storage, and neither phone has a microSD card slot. On memory, the Pro goes further, up to a terabyte of storage and 16 GB of RAM versus a 512 GB ceiling and 12 gigs on the 17T. Both are fast UFS 4.1 with no card slot. Starting with CPU power in Geekbench 6. The Pro's Dimensity 9500 leads both runs, 3150 to 1723 in single core and 9741 to the 17T's 6590 in multi-core. That's a multi-core lead of around 48% in raw processor performance. AnTuTu measures the whole system. On version 10, the Pro hits 2.79 million to the 17T's 1.64 million, and on the newer version 11, it scores 3.34 million against 2.13 million, a lead of well over 50% either way. Graphics widen the gap further. In 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme, the Pro scores 6921 to the 17T's 3554, nearly double the GPU performance thanks to its Mali G1 Ultra. Bottom line on performance, the Pro wins every test. It leads Geekbench by almost half, takes AnTuTu by well over 1,000,000 points, and nearly doubles the 17T's 3D Mark score. The 17T handles daily use fine, but the Pro is the clear performance champion. Connectivity is the one area the Pro clearly modernizes. It steps up to Wi-Fi 7, while the standard 17T stops at Wi-Fi 6E. Everything else lines up. Both have USB-C 2.0, Bluetooth 6.0, NFC, and an infrared blaster with broad satellite positioning on each. For connectivity, the Pro's main advantage is Wi-Fi 7 over the 17T's Wi-Fi 6E. NFC, infrared, Bluetooth, and USB-C are identical, so for most people the difference is small. The two are identical here. Both carry an under-display optical fingerprint reader, plus accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity, and compass, everything you'd expect, with nothing to set them apart. On sensors, there's no difference. Both phones share the same under-display fingerprint reader and full sensor suite. So which Xiaomi should you buy? The 17T Pro is the true flagship, a far faster Dimensity 9500, a bigger 6.83-inch 144Hz screen, a 7000 mAh battery with 100 watt and wireless charging, an aluminum frame, Wi-Fi 7, 8K video, and up to a terabyte of storage. The standard 17T counters with the same camera modules, the same Dolby Vision screen, and IP68 toughness in a lighter, more compact body for a lot less money. Want maximum performance and charging? Get the Pro. Want the Xiaomi 17T experience for less in a smaller, lighter phone? The standard 17T is the smarter buy. Which one would you pick? Let us know in the comments, drop a like and subscribe for more head-to-heads.